Welcome to the DNVR Avalanche Rudoless Podcast show. This is AJ. I'm Eric. We got Tiff. Well, it's Friday, right? It's Friday.
That's why everybody else took the day off.
Yeah, they're taking the day off.
You and I didn't have the good sense to have something going on today.
No.
We're not smart enough.
I know.
Hopefully everyone else gets hailed on.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Damn. Rudolph's at a wedding.
Hopefully it's indoors. I don't know.
He's in Estes Park.
I hope he's at a wedding getting hailed on.
He was leaving this
Jesus,
morning, I think, right? Leaving now, yeah? Yeah. All right. Well, hockey played last night. Let's talk a little bit about the game last night, which sounds like, I mean, I don't want to be the negative guy here for the Edmonton Oilers, but it sure sounds like the steak is well done, overcooked. And,
that's the end of the series, man.
Yeah, I think so too.
Essentially, you know, Florida takes a 3-0 series lead, and it ended up being a surprisingly entertaining 4-3 game.
You got,
just kind of how it was going in the second period when Florida got out to that. Second period, you go in 1-0, and you're like, okay, Florida keeps pulling this magic trick in this series of getting outplayed and then leading. And then Edmonton ties the game, and you're like, okay, like we've got a game. And then Florida dropped the hammer, and it was less of a game. They get the bounce. The Oilers get the bounce at the start of the third period. It was like 7 minutes into the third period. A puck going in off of Mikola's elbow. And like straight down into the corner of the net. I mean,
5 foot wide.
That was honestly, I was like, that's some puck luck. Yeah. And then they score, make it 4-3, and make the end of the game pretty interesting. It ended up being a fun finish.
Yeah.
Especially because Edmonton ultimately lost, and that's the result I want.
After those 6 minutes, in the second, Florida was dominant those 6 minutes, right? I mean, it starts with that miscue behind the net, whatever. People like to blame the goalie. A lot of times again, we're not on the ice. I don't know how they work with their Ds, but there's a communication problem there. It's easy to blame the goalie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know what happened. I don't know how they play it, but obviously it wasn't played right. And then that ends up being the goal that opens the valves up, right, for those 6 minutes or whatever it was. And I have to be honest, my eyes went away a little bit after that, wandering a little bit, right? I mean, I'm like, 4-1, are you serious? Like, this is not even a series, you know what I mean? And then the third got better, you know what I mean? From that bounce, and then obviously that next one, make it 4-3, and, but then nothing came of it. You know what I mean? Like they didn't really
they couldn't finish it. They had a great chance. Ryan McLeod had one on the doorstep, man. I mean, that was...
No, but what I'm talking about is when they pulled the goalie, like they really had... Nothing happened.
Yeah, there was not a lot that went down.
Nothing happened.
Pretty consistent with the way that their power play has been in the series. It's really kind of gone dark. And it's crazy to see a power play that has been so electric.
Well, we were texting
just go totally dark like that.
Well, they go and they get those 2 power plays earlier. And, they're down 2-0 in the series. You're going home. Electric crowd. Sounded like an electric crowd.
Yeah.
People are excited. Best power play in the league all year long, right? You get 2 power plays and you don't convert. You know what I mean? Tip will laugh, but the no-no, I don't care. 101 left, whatever it is. That's a no-no. You know what I mean? Like you give up that goal. I don't care. People are going to say, well, yeah, but they came back. It was 1-1. Yeah, it doesn't matter. You lost the first. It's mental. You know what I mean? Like you lost that one. Now you make a nice play and you make it in the second period 1-1. Mm-hmm. But as we've seen, Florida can strike, and, a little bit like the Avs can do too. You have those 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes where they just overwhelm you. And after a gift from, Skinner / that Cece was with them. I think it was Cece, right? The miscue with them. Anyway, then all of a sudden, Panthers just went ham on them. I mean, those are nice goals. Like Bennett goal was nice. And,
it's a really nice goal.
You know what I mean? Like it's just like it was
great play by Erod to Barkov.
Great play. Great, and they finished. Mm-hmm. So executed. You listen. You want to close out a team, like you want to You want to win the Stanley Cup, you got to execute. And those guys executed yesterday. And then
you look at that being a major difference in this series, because there have been long stretches of the series where the Oilers have outplayed the Panthers.
Yep.
But Bobrovsky has outplayed Skinner by a significant amount. And that's, it's not interesting to say, but goaltending has been a major difference in this series, because you're talking about execution. They executed on those plays. They're right in front.
Well, the goalie just stops it.
And you say, oh, well, look where those goals get scored from. Look at who does that. But you've seen Bobrovsky come up with big saves in those moments in the series. And you look at the Ryan McLeod save, the save on Ryan McLeod that we were just talking about,
right
that would have made it 4-4. And that's a save. We got into the habit this year of saying, oh, well, that's a save. That's a save. One of those plays goes a little bit differently, and maybe Florida is sitting in a 2-1 series, and Game 4 becomes a bit of a buzzsaw there. And instead, it feels like, okay, how many is it going to end in?
I mean, listen, 3-0. I mean, yeah, some teams have whatever. There's always a chance, right? I mean, there is. I mean, it's life. You got to play the games. I get it. Do I see it? No. I don't think you see it either. That's why that game yesterday, monumental. I mean, it's, you know what I mean? 2-1 is a big freaking difference. You know what I mean? Than 3-0, obviously. So I feel that game last night, you could tell like Florida was coming off the ice and they meant business coming off the ice. They didn't want to go like, yeah. They were just coming off and they were all like skating off, walking off fast. You know what I mean? And you could tell Edmonton was just... their head.
It was a bad body language moment for them.
It was a tough one. I think the crowd really got dead in the second, and obviously they came alive again when they scored those 2 goals, and which goals can do right to a crowd. But then after that, it kind of the game ended, and it was like, it's a tough one. But I'll go back to what we were just saying there. Sorry, I lost my picture here, but highest save percentage in a cup final in NHL history. It's not over. Bob is at 984 right now. I'm just saying, if
it's tough to win,
number 1 of all time right now, if the series ended up in 3 games, which we all know numbers are going to change, but Patty Watt 96, 974, second. And my man Rogie Vachon 1969, 972, and Johnny Bauer 971, and Tim Thomas 2011
against Vancouver.
Bruins,
that was
967. So Bob is playing well. I mean, Bob is again, Edmonton's. That's again. I'm not trying to go back there. They're making a few mistakes and the puck's in their net. They're not getting the save that we talk about. That's why that was my pet peeve this year with the Avs when I was saying they're making the big saves, but they're falling behind because they're not getting a save. You know what I mean? And I just feel that. Knobloch after the game, Coach Knobloch said, "No, we've been done." But at the end of the day, you're losing every game.
Yeah,
there's no such thing as But I know what he's trying to say, and I'm not bashing him. I trying to stay upbeat and positive, and because it's we're dominating. We're dominating some parts of the game, but in reality, great. But that's not what hockey is, right?
Yeah, you got to put goals up on the board, and they're not doing it. And really, it's on the back of their star guys. They're not doing it. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins done nothing. Leon Draisaitl's done nothing. Connor McDavid's really he's been very quiet. He had 2 assists last night. Yeah. But you're talking, he gets an assist on one of the all-time great bounces. The shot that's going well wide and it gets off hits off an elbow and goes in.
But it's a little bit like the Avs. They just went dry, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where all the top guys went dry at the end, and that's kind of what Florida's done to everybody that walked through them in the playoffs so far. I mean, it was Panarin and, actually it was Pasta. Everybody was like, what's going on with Pasta?
Yeah,
right?
well, they go through Kucherov, then Pasternak, then Panarin, Kucherov, then now it's McDavid and Draisaitl. And it's just like...
And at 5-on-5, they're limiting everything. I mean, you want to win hockey games, 5-on-5 play, and those guys are saying oh my God, it's a scientific system. No, it's not. It's a hardworking system, and it's a freaking It used to be that the only thing we used to have in the Avs locker room is it's all about commitment. That's all it was on the wall. That's it. And Mark Crawford brought that in there in 96 and actually 95. But it is about commitment. It is about commitment. It is, you want to play, it's committing to it. It's committing to having your stick in the lane. It's committing to having your route go a certain way where you don't cheat. I don't call that systems. I call that commitment. You know what I mean? And that's being in the shooting lane. Sure.
Well, and that's not something X's and O's wise on a whiteboard you're drawing up and you're going, okay, well, we want to make sure, like that's knowing how to play the game.
Know how to play hockey. They know how to play hockey, and it's obviously Barkov knows how to play hockey. And
he's pretty good.
He's pretty good. And then their D's are, they're limiting. I mean, Bob's been great, but I don't think they're giving that crazy. I don't think the numbers are crazy 5-on-5, of scoring chances against, right? I mean, it's not like it's nuts, like they're keeping a lot to the outside and, and Bob's making the saves. And if they make a mistake, they're getting the save. But it's nice to see a driven team, you can tell. Like, I think Sammy Bennett said it last night. He's like, we have 23, whatever you call them, warriors or whatever on our team. That's what we have. And that's how they play. Like, they play like they're so methodical. They go and they play the same way, and then there's no I in team. And it's the stupid, like, freaking slogans, but it's true. They really want to win as a team. And I think it's been fun to watch. You know what I mean? And Rudo's right. That was his pick from all day long. I mean, I had called Florida the Avs, which I think would have been a nicer final, you know what I mean? But, I think. I mean,
this has been a disappointing final. Just in terms of the end results, but it's interesting because Edmonton has outplayed Florida for long stretches of the series, but they haven't been able to score goals. They went 286 5v5 minutes in between goals. Going back to the series against Dallas, they didn't score anything at 5v5.
True.
They had a 5v5 goal in game 4 against Dallas.
Yeah. Somehow
win that series without another one, and then didn't get another 5v5 goal until last night. I mean, you're not going to win being purely a special team. You can obviously win a couple of games here and there, but you're not going to win a Stanley Cup playing like that. And they finally got a couple, but you see the struggles that they've had at 5v5 where, look, and Knobloch is having the same problem that Jay Woodcroft had.
Yeah.
And who was before that? Todd McClellan?
Yeah.
Todd McClellan had before him.
Yeah.
When the chips are down and you have to have something, they put Draisaitl and McDavid together, and the rest of the lineup falls apart.
One point that I saw yesterday I don't know if it was on the screen or it was on Twitter or the internet, but it reminds me of the Avs a little bit.
Yeah.
I think the Oilers have led for like 18 minutes total, in the series. And we talked about it with the Avs again. They were saying they were always freaking behind or trying to catch up. And I think you play catch-up hockey is tough because you'd let the other team dictate the pace of the game, dictate the flow of the game. Mm-hmm. And when you're always behind or you're not leading, it's a big difference. We saw it when the Avs were leading. Dallas played a different game. You know what I mean? So right now, obviously the wind is all in friggin' behind Florida.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then Edmonton, it's kind of makes it a little easier to play with. You're dead, right? So it's like, well, nothing to lose right now. Let's go have some fun.
Yeah, that's why they always say the fourth win is the hardest, is because the team with their back against the wall now has nothing left to lose.
Well, look at the Avs in 96, right?
There's no stress.
0-0, and then takes 3 overtimes or whatever it was.
Yeah, John Van Beesbrook's game of his life.
Groupie puts it in, and craziness, and it was like 1:30 in the morning, whatever it was. But it's not easy. Yeah, it's not easy to win the fourth one. I'm not saying Edmonton's gonna. It is the Stanley Cup Finals. I mean, nobody's gonna roll over and die, especially at home. And but Florida's gonna be a tough friggin' pushover too. They're not, you're not gonna be like, let's just drop this one and let's go win at home. That's not how it works. You know what I mean? I hear that all the time from people, and I'm like,
these guys that have been trying to do this accomplish this thing their entire life. Yeah,
trust me, they're like, we're not going home. We're going home, but it's going to be like with a lot of champagne.
Yeah, to party.
Very early in the morning,
Yeah.
you know, and trust me, it is a tough one to go back to the hotel to go sleep. And then all of a sudden you're like,
Yeah.
we have a flight tomorrow. We're 10 a.m. bus. And you're like, we could have ended. Oh, no, it's not fun.
All that talk about, this is the longest distance between cities in a Stanley Cup final ever. They win game 4. That's suddenly a really fun flight for them all the way home.
Oh,
it's the greatest flight they ever go on in their lives.
Unreal. Like I told you,
I'm going to tear that plane up.
I was on that flight from Florida to Colorado because whatever, I didn't win it, but
Yeah.
I jumped in because it was like 4 a.m. and
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't have a flight, you know, so I'm like, just came here on my way back to LA, but boy, oh boy, were they having fun on that plane. You know? I don't think the flight attendant was walking around saying, excuse me, put your seatbelt on. You know, like they were having some fun. You know what I mean?
I can imagine some poor flight attendant trying to tell Patrick Waugh to put his seatbelt on after he wins the Stanley Cup.
Keener was in his full gear still with his stogie in and no skates, just his full gear. Oh my God.
The inspiration for Sean Podine later.
That's what it was. Yep. I mean, that's crazy. But hey, what a fun time. And, you know, they're going to land and then hopefully get into their Toyotas, you know, to drive home. And
Damn,
you
look
know,
at that. Season pro right here.
I'm like, Rudo's not here, so don't laugh at me. But, you know, it was an easy transition there. Toyota is the official vehicle of DNVR. Trucks have always been a part of Toyota's DNA for generations. Toyota has built durable legends destined for greatness and perfect for Colorado. I had a Toyota 4Runner. Actually, I had a Toyota Land Cruiser, my first car here when I was 96 with the Avs. So I sure loved it. So whether you're conquering off-road trails or hauling the weight of the world, there's a Toyota truck that's just right for you. Like the all-new 2024 Tacoma. I love their trucks, actually.
Yeah.
Those pickup trucks. And the return of the iconic 2024 Land Cruiser that I had in 96. Toyota offers 17 models with available all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive, like the epic 4Runner. That was my college car with my brother, sharing, hand-me-down from who? One of your idols.
I don't have idols.
Yeah, you do. Patrick Waugh. Toyota
They're all false.
also currently offers more low and zero emission vehicles combined than any other automaker to give customers numerous choices to reduce their carbon footprint. That's my next one. I got to go with that type of vehicle. There's 16 different hybrid vehicles to choose from, like the Tundra, iForce, Max, hybrid truck. Toyota SUVs take command on the road and on the trail, so you can explore the road less traveled without sacrificing smooth city rides in SUVs like RAV4 and Grand Highlanders. Visit your Front Range Toyota stores at a location near you. AutoNation Toyota Arapahoe and Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson's Toyota West in Lakewood. The official vehicle of the Colorado Avalanche and the official vehicle of us, DNVR. We're also brought to you by, with your movement right now, Circa Resort and Casino. Mm-hmm. We're going to be like this in 2 weeks at the draft at Circa, outside at Stadium Swim. You know what I mean? To watch the best sports action during the summer. Use code DNVR20 at checkout for 20% off. So Vegas' first ever adult and casino resort. It is an awesome setup if you like sports and you're in Vegas. I love kids. It's Father's Day Sunday, but adults only, which is kind of nice. And they do check the IDs. And
we had a great time.
So, yeah. We
watching college football.
Awesome stadium seating. I mean, tons of VIP seating, Dugout Club, Legends Club, Champions Club, Circle Club, Upper Circle Club, Lower, North, South stands. I mean, it's nuts. You can watch any sports you want, and it's in a fun environment. The casino is awesome with 7,000 square foot casino. They have like 1,322 slots and 48 table games with dancing dealers. That's right, dancing dealers. So, again, we will be doing the live show at Stadium Swim. 4,000 person capacity. So be one of the 4,000. Come see us.
So there will be 3,995 people there to watch us.
Yes, because we'll be part of the 5.
Yep.
Yes. That screen is amazing, though. If you got to check it out, you got to see it. It's so fun. It's open 365 days a year. I mean, there's 6 pools, 2 spas. There's so much wet space and swim bars and cabanas and all the things that can do. You can even have some cabanas hold up to 50 guests. So you can have a lot of friends.
It's a big-ass cabana.
Yeah, that's a big-ass cabana. So 500 rooms, variety of layouts to fit your needs, art from local artists. Elevate your evening at the Legacy Club, which we did a show from last year.
It's the single nicest room I've ever been in.
With those gold plates, right?
Yep.
Woof. And great restaurants, too. They do have great food there. So anyway, experience Stadium Swim and watch your favorite teams at Circa Resort and Casino. Book your stay with code DNVR20 for 20% off. Great place. We've been there. We can vouch for it. So awesome. Getting back to what we were talking about, like I'm going to transition like this, and maybe it's going to give us an answer where we'll talk more about the best player so far, non-goalie for the Florida Panthers. So if the series ends tomorrow, who wins the Conn Smyth? Is it Barkov or is it Bobrovsky?
I think it's Bobrovsky, but certainly the series that Barkov has had has at least made it a more interesting conversation. I mean, Gustav Forsling is also a guy that you'd kind of have like on the periphery of that, but I do think that it is clearly, he should clearly be third on that pecking order.
Oh, I agree with you. You'll get votes. I mean, I love stories like this. I just do. Guy, not a sexy pick, right? Not a high pick, and then just goes in the minors and not ready. European comes over, but I told you, like a lot of us liked him. I liked him. Not enough to at the time for rosters to start at the start of the season years ago. Where he goes on waivers. He cleared waivers the first time. You know what I mean? And then the second time he didn't clear waivers. I think the first time around, a lot of teams, like I remember submitting like to the Flames, like, hey, we got to look at this guy. You know what I mean? But then at that time, you look at your roster and you weren't dropping anybody to put him on. You know what I mean? It kind of like Ryan Graves. I'm not saying that Ryan Graves is the best D in the world, but when he got dropped, he went through waivers. And then, you know what I mean? And then Colorado could have lost him the year before. They didn't, because same thing. For example, Calgary wasn't ready to take him and drop a guy on their roster. And then
it's never as simple as just claim player, have player.
It's not.
There's always other math involved.
But on this one, Florida picks him up. This guy's been unbelievable since, right? Joel believed in him. And then obviously the coaches that have been there since, you know what I mean? Like Maurice and Sly, our buddy Sly. He's been unbelievable. I mean, he is like, you might have to look at him next year and say, maybe he's in Norris Trophy contention. I mean, why not? Why wouldn't you think of that?
The way that he has played in this,
it's unbelievable.
Cup playoffs has been absurd. I'm watching him last night, just like, what is this? What is this? It reminds me of the ascension that Devon Taves made of, like really good, underrated guy for the Islanders, and then he gets dropped in Colorado, and all of a sudden it was just, it clicked at the highest level that you could ever expect out of a guy like that. It was awesome. And watching Gustav Forsling just eat up tough matchups has been incredible in this postseason.
Well,
Florida has not had an easy road to this.
That's what I mean, because we talked about it, right? I mean, with Tampa and then Rangers and
Boston.
And Boston, Pasta's no slouch.
He's pretty good.
Right, he's pretty good. And then you got McDavid and Draisaitl right now, and Bouchard. I mean, Bouchard has gone from like an AHL player. Like he's been on. He was so good in this series. The Panthers have made him look like a call-up.
They made him look bad. They have really ripped him up.
He's really, and again, like it's part of the process of getting there and getting to the stardom and all that stuff. So, but still. Florida has neutralized all those guys, and it's part of it. Yeah, the goalie, part of it, their Ds have been outstanding. And then the guy we're trying to talk about is Barkov, which, I agree with you. I'd give the MVP to Bob. like you did. But if you were going to say Barkov, I'd be like, okay, well, let's talk about him. That's what I want to talk about. You know what I mean?
If
But
Barkov ultimately wins the Conn Smyth, I don't think anybody's going to be out there like, wow, Bobrovsky was completely robbed.
this guy's been so good. And again, we talked about its commitment. Like when he makes that play on Bouchard,
High
it's
in the
not
zone,
science. He's got that long reach, and he just sees it, and then he just pokes it, and then he just goes and then moves in the middle, gets it back. I mean, it's pure. It's simple hockey.
It's just really smart, and it's really effective. And you open up the door, he kicks it open.
Thank you.
You give it a crack, and he's like, I'm going through, buddy.
And then for people to remember, I know you remember, but that's the MacKinnon draft. You know what I mean? Where all of a sudden, you know, like you're talking about cornerstones, right? With Mac being one, and you know Barkov being a cornerstone, different types of players, right? One not as flashy as the other, but
certainly
showing you right now that it can be effective as well. You know what I mean? But you know, sometimes boring can be good sometimes too. You know what I mean? And it's proven this year where I hate to call him boring because the guy's amazing. You know what I mean? But you know what I'm saying? It's not.
Yeah. Well, Nathan MacKinnon pours on highlights, like just pours on the highlights. And with Sasha Barkov, like it's hard to build a highlight reel for the guy that wins the Selke. You know, and he's a very good offensive player, but he's a tip-top, elite of the elite defensive forward.
Well, look at everyone we just named from all the teams they've been walking over, or McDavid included, right? And the latest until, I mean, who knows, it's not over, but that's the thing.
Well, and the number one centers on those teams outside of Boston are all pretty good. You know, Braden Point, again, we'll skip over Boston because their top C is not in the same caliber. But Braden Point for Tampa Bay, you've got the two-headed monster of Zibanejad and Trocheck in New York.
And now those McDavid.
And now McDavid and Draisaitl when they decide to split them up, which is rarely now because Florida spends a lot of their time leading. And, you know, but I know the focus here is on Barkov and the difference that he makes for that team. But it's not just Barkov. No. It's Sam Bennett on the second line. It's Anton Lundell on their third line. And depending on the game, they can switch back and forth. They've both played on different lines in this postseason. But that kind of center depth, all three of those guys take care of the defensive zone. And when we're looking at that and you look at the effect that they have head-to-head against this Edmonton team. Yeah. But again, not just Edmonton. Look at the other teams they went through. All right, those are all really good teams. When you're Colorado and you're looking at that, Colorado was able to outscore the lack of that guy in 2022 because Kadri was playing otherworldly and MacKinnon was MacKinnon. Yeah. But you did have a JT Compher down there that was able to play that kind of defensive stopper. And I think JT Compher is really overrated by Avalanche fans. But he plays his role well. He takes care of the defensive zone really well. I'm not saying that's a guy that I want to trust head-to-head in an entire series against a McDavid, but you look at the Winnipeg series this year between Colorado and Winnipeg, and you know Adam Lowry was a guy that, hey, Adam Lowry is going to heal. He's got this. He's the McKinnon eraser, and it lasted one game. Yeah, it lasted one game.
I know, and when I see Barkov. Somebody's saying Kopitar and Bergeron like that. I agree.
Yeah, those are the
for
guys.
Me. I mean,
used to be Couturier.
Those are the guys. Yes, those are the guys that they're fun to watch because I admire that side of the game. You know what I mean? Where not everyone gets to be like Nate or you know what I mean. They're in that little. Those guys are not in that percentage. They're not. But they're lower, but they make themselves go up because they're so smart and they're so dedicated to their craft. And I think the Avs haven't had a guy like that. And I'm biased, but I go back to Ryan. Right? You know, Ryan for me was the closest I think they've had to a Barkov, you know what I mean? Like but Ryan was more refined after he left here, right? You know what I mean? Became that guy, Conn Smyth, friggin' top line center in St. Louis.
And a Selke guy.
And a Selke guy. So, you know, but Ryan wasn't that Ryan with the Avs. He was on his way to become.
He was playing left wing in Colorado.
That's right.
Because Paul Stastny and Matt Duchene were here.
There you go. Now you figure.
And Nathan MacKinnon.
We talked about it like, yes, guy. He like, I'll do it. I'll do it. Remember, that's what Ryan was
absolutely.
like, because he was so smart. I'll do anything you want me to do. You know what I mean? And that's
in hindsight, Jesus, that center depth.
that's sick. You know what I mean? Like, I know.
MacKinnon, Stasny, Duchesne, O'Reilly.
It's crazy.
Jesus, man.
So it was fun, but it was anyway. It's kind of the way I look at it is those pieces are so important. You know what I mean? Like Kopitar and look Bergeron. Bergeron leaves the Bruins. They had a good season, but they weren't the same. You know what I mean? Like that.
It's just too much for Zacha and Charlie Coyle. They're not those guys. It's a testament to everybody else on that roster and the coaching staff that they were able to be as good as they were. But with Barkov, that was the easier matchup for him. But when we look at Barkov, it's the way that he has been able to shut them down. And we in Colorado kind of like to retcon the Edmonton series and be like, no, they totally erased Connor McDavid. He had like 9 points in that series in 4 games. He, McDavid was pretty good in that series. It was just everybody else was bad.
True. And
Draisaitl was badly injured.
But when there's holes in your game, that's why Barkov is there to clean stuff up, a little bit like Red Hawk Roofing. You know what I mean? Last night,
this is 2 perfect transitions.
Rudo, who? Okay, what? I didn't think so. But I'll tell you one thing. Last night, I was in my mother-in-law there in Loveland. Woof! Did the hail come down, man. It was unbelievable. So if you were in that area, I don't know what else in Denver got hit last night, but I'm assuming other parts of Denver got hit, because you should give Red Hawk Roofing a call, because the recent hailstorm was the most damaging since 2017. Red Hawk Roofing is here, and if you are affected, and will take care of you. They offer a free consultation, free. So if you need help with the hail, Red Hawk Roofing as your back. Denver's best roofers have joined the DNVR team. We are proud to call them family. Decades of experience, quick response time, Colorado's best estimators and contractors, huge DNVR supporters, free, like I said, I'll say it again, free, no obligation, roof and property inspections. Rudo's getting one done because that hailstorm from a month ago, whatever it was. So you needed Barkov that day, Rudo. Free in-depth photo reports for all inspections. Hail season's here, so don't wait on to take care of any issues you might have. You can't always see how bad the damage to your roof is from the ground, so you need the help of Red Hawk Roofing. They will give you a free upgrade to a hail impact resisting shingle. Supporting your local teams means also supporting local businesses like Red Hawk Roofing. If you're looking for a new roof over your home or business, be sure to check out Red Hawk Roofing at redhawkroofing.com or call 720-771-8921 and tell them DNVR sent you, especially AJ, Eric, and Tiff sent you. So let them know, 720-771-8921, Red Hawk Roofing, big part of the DNVR family. Also, if you're a Panthers fan last night, a hockey fan last night, right? There's a lot of reasons to grab a Coors Light and, just kind of choose to chill a little bit. You know what I mean? Whether it's you offering, like Rudo last night, a nice reason to chill, to be excited about his Florida Panthers. We're allowed to say his Florida Panthers because
they've been his all year.
Yeah, and the Avs are not there, so there's no chat. Can't be mad. You know what I mean? So grab a nice cold one, and give Rudo his nice Coors Light. You know what I mean? And vice versa. It's a peace offering too for if you're Edmonton and you lost a game. Well, you just offer a nice Coors Light to a Florida Panther fan just to reminisce about the game and be proud to be watching some hockey and just choose to chill. So anyway, I remember one time when actually talking about Florida Panthers, I remember Patrick Roy having a nice Coors Light in Florida. Why Patrick Roy? Because, like I said to you, I was not part of that team. I was there for my family, and I'm hiding on the side. And then he's the one that was hanging with me, and he was having a nice cold Coors Light. And he was telling me that it was from Colorado. So he was trying to teach me that, Coors Light was from Colorado. So I remember that like it was yesterday, and it was so funny because I told you that story before. He was trying to tell me how they were going to win it again the next year. We became teammates, but the guy that, everybody was celebrating, and he was just choosing to chill with a nice Coors Light and thinking about how they're going to win next year. So I thought that was always very interesting about Patrick. So when the mountains turn blue, it's as cold as the Rockies. Coors Light is cold lagered, cold filtered, and cold packaged for a smoother finish. So when you embrace a chill mindset, like Patrick did that day, it's a good time to choose chill and crack open a Coors Light. Coors Light is mountain cold refreshment, crisp and refreshing as the Colorado Rockies. Make the most out of your time you choose to chill. Choose Coors Light. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door. Rudo talks about it all the time with Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/DNVR. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Third period of the DNVR Avalanche Podcast. Let's get back to this.
Are you gonna be the guy
very
that holds
chill.
up your
You chill right now.
I'm very
just
chill.
We
You're
need a
laid
Coors
back.
Light. Don't have it right here.
I got this.
Yeah.
Let's get back to what we were talking about a little bit, just to finish off before moving on to, or let's use it in comparison to, do the Avs have enough center? You hear that all the time from players managers. What's your plan, for winning the cup? And, usually you take over a bad team, and, so you're like, oh, well, we're going to start from the net out and in our decor and in our center depth, right? Obviously, center depth is the most important thing. Now, when you're looking at the Florida Panthers, like they're going to win the Stanley Cup, you can't help but now look and say, okay, let's compare the center depth of the Florida Panthers to the Colorado Avalanche. Do the Avalanche have enough, at center?
With where they really, I think, excel, obviously Barkov is Barkov, but Sam Bennett, two-way guy, a lot of physicality, a lot of grit, very annoying to play against. Anton Lundell, just a really smart player, very good defensive center already. Kevin Stenlund, their 4C, a guy that I continue to make an argument that the Avs should try to target in free agency if he's willing to leave Florida. Really big, wins a lot of faceoffs. Again, good defensive center. All four of those guys take care of their own end first.
Yeah.
Flip that, you look at Colorado. Nathan MacKinnon, bad defensive center. Never been any good at it. It's gotten better. It's still, I would still not call it good. Obviously, an otherworldly offensive player. You can live with that. Casey Mittelstadt, more known for his offense than his defense. We're still kind of on the fence of what he's going to become. But at the moment, you would definitely consider him an offensive center. Ross Colton had a very good year in his first year as a full-time center in Colorado. Again, much more offensively oriented than defensively. There were a lot of holes in his defensive game that you could see throughout the season. There's a growth process there, and it's fair to wonder, will he ever get to the level of like a true defensive stopper? But he drives play offensively much better than your average third-line center. So again, there's some give and take.
Yeah, I know.
But the plus for every one of those guys right now is in the offensive end. And the negative for them is in the defensive end. That's 1 through 3, and you don't even have a fourth-line center. You didn't even go get one at the deadline. You pretended Yakov Trenin was that guy. And he was overmatched in that job. He was never really going to be... He wasn't a center when they got him, and I'm not confusing him with a center now. There were moments where it was really good, but the overall body of work with him as their 4C, not great. It ended up being kind of a strange decision for them with that acquisition and how they used him.
Yeah. Sometimes there's nothing else, right?
Yeah.
And I know that's what you're saying. I'm saying, I'm sure he wasn't their top pick, right?
Yeah.
I mean, for that reason.
Yeah.
He's a good player. I mean, I'd love to keep him. That's a different day, but
absolutely.
Yeah.
But ultimately, you have to wonder, are the Avs in a weird misfit position here where all of them are too offensively oriented and you don't have a guy that the Avs got to the second round of the postseason without a single center that they trust to put out there on a PK. Yeah. So they were just losing every faceoff and trying to defend for 2 minutes. Yeah. It's an absurd way to live. So there has to be something that they do.
We need
there
Yeller.
Has to be something.
We need Yeller back. We got to get Yeller out of retirement.
Go get Kevin Stenlund.
All right.
He's like a really big Stefan Yale.
Perfect.
Great.
I like it.
But in lieu of that, they might be better off pulling Yale out of retirement than running it back with having Andrew Cogliano lose all the faceoffs on the PK.
That was tough.
And that's where those situations. This podcast has always kind of waved off face-off percentage as a whole because so many face-offs happen in the neutral zone that you're just like, it's better to win it than lose it, but it's not that important. Yeah. When you're talking about a PK and the ability to, we see it with the Avs on the power play, they lose that face-off constantly. I always joke that their power play start with a minute and 40 seconds left because they lose it, and then that's how long it takes them to get the zone coming back. That's best case. You would love to kill those 20 seconds on the other end of it, and instead they're spending those 20 seconds defending. So it's they need help in those specific areas. They need help in those little details. We talk about the details with the players and how they play the game. Well, this is a detail from the management side that they need to do a better job of setting these guys up for. They've got to do a better job. They have to try and get somebody that can help them, certainly at the 4C spot. But are they just kind of stuck with these three centers? I say stuck, like it's bad, but they're not. They don't really have the money to move Ross Colton to the wing and make him a $4 million third line wing or a $4 million second line wing if they can't bring back Jonathan Drouin or whatever's going to happen. They need those centers because right now, Mikko Rantanen is a wing. He's always been a wing. This whole everybody trying to pretend he can play center thing it's a Band-Aid over a bullet hole type of thing. He's not a center. Can we please stop? He's not very good defensively. Arturi Lehkonen, you love him. He does everything. He's a good defensive winger. Hmm. They used to have Val Nichushkin and Gabe Landeskog as excellent two-way wings. They don't at the moment. They haven't in each of the last couple of playoff runs. The one time they did have Val, they won a playoff round. You need the help. If you're going to have offensive centers, you need to have really good two-way wings.
Actually, Val, they have last 5 rounds they had them, they won.
Fair enough.
All right, good.
Fair enough.
I mean that's how good he is.
True.
I mean, it's true. I know.
It's totally fair.
There was no sarcasm.
Yeah, no, it's very fair.
Yeah.
And the one time that they had Landeskog, Nichushkin, and Lehkonen all in a lineup together, they won 4 rounds.
True.
And they haven't had them together since, despite spending the money on them.
True.
So in the world that they're in now, okay, they're centers. You're not, unless you can go out and get a very cost-efficient third-line center, you're not moving Ross Colton to wing. It's just not.
No, I know.
He's not a good enough offensive player to be in your top 6 all year and make $4 million. But as a third-line center, he's a little expensive for that job, but he's fine. And he had a really good year in his first year. The big thing for me, please surround him with better players.
Yeah.
No offense. The Miles Wood, Ross Colton, Logan O'Connor line was fun, and it drove a lot of play, but it scored like a 4th line.
Yeah.
It needs to score more than that to be a real threat. Otherwise, you have what Edmonton has in their third line right now. Yeah, it can play. It can be in the other end a lot, but it needs to produce more than it did.
This is where I see, something Greg's saying Yell was awesome. I agree. That's the difference between Avalanche 1.0 and 2.0. Like, they had that stability there of having that guy. Yeller was that guy. Scored 5 goals a year, but when you're in the lead in a lot of games, as the Avs were, it becomes a hot commodity. You have a PK to kill, then here's your main guy.
Yeah.
You have a face-off to win, here's your main guy. And Greg, you're right. Yeller was awesome. We married sisters, so yeah, we're brother-in-laws. So not step-brothers, but brother-in-laws.
Brothers-in-law.
Brothers-in-law. No, he was great.
Hell yeah, I'm that guy.
Yeah, brothers-in-law. Sorry, I'm French. Anyway, but I think, yeah, they're just built differently. But the only thing is this league is a copycat league, right? And every year, it's like all of a sudden goaltending matters, right? Last year it didn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
You can get away Kemper and Hill, and you know what I mean? Like, now you're like, Bob's the highest paid goalie. I mean, one of the highest paid goalies, or is he the highest paid? He's up there.
He's real close.
He's got to be there. He's a Carey Price tag. I mean, that's where Bob is. Remember that contract was so bad when he couldn't play. And then what a comeback he's had. I mean, this is just unbelievable what this guy's done,
I mean, this Bobrovsky wins this cup and this Conn Smyth. I think it probably pushes him into a Hall of Fame career. Multiple Vezinas.
Saw that, this morning?
This?
It was online too. I agree.
I don't know.
Actually, Max texted me, asked me.
Looked.
Max asked me, and he's like, "Does that put him in the Hall if he wins and he wins the Conn Smyth?" I mean, for me, yes. I mean, he's won a couple Vezinas.
He's won 2.
Then it would be,
then a cup and a Conn Smyth. That's a pretty good career.
Does he have an Olympic medal like Russia, or they must have, right? I mean, I have to look back.
I don't know, and they haven't gone to the Olympics for so long.
No, or World Juniors,
and Russia's.
No, I know. Or World Juniors even. I mean, I don't know. I don't remember Bob. I mean, I remember him in Philly. I do. You know what I mean? Like,
regardless,
it is a Hall of Fame career in my book. Father's Day's coming up.
Yeah, don't remind me.
Father's Day. Well, in case my kids are watching, Father's Day's coming up, so there won't be a dragon transition. There just won't be. Everybody was waiting for a dragon transition. I'm on the spot right now. I can't do it.
Are your kids goblins?
They're what?
Are they goblins?
What does that mean?
Like a goblin.
French, man.
I guess I don't know how to. It has never occurred to me, but I've never tried to describe a goblin to somebody.
Tiff, we need help.
Yeah. Like little green goblins. I guess anyway.
I don't know.
If you're looking to goblin these nuts, et cetera, come on.
I see. You can say it. That would have been a good transition, but.
Tried to help you out, and then you tried to get me to define goblin.
No, I didn't know what I meant.
You pulled the reverse Uno card on me.
I didn't know what it meant. Sorry about that. But anyway.
What is a goblin? Evil, and goblins are evil and ill-intentioned spirits? Oh, my God. This is terrible.
Anyway. Fellas, I mean, if you haven't purchased a Father's Day gift yet, we thought so. Today's episode is brought to you by Manscaped, the leaders in below-the-waist grooming. Maybe your pop has had a bush since the 70s, and that's okay. Our friends at Manscaped have crafted the total package for his special day, whether it's for his boys downstairs, gobble, and that's okay, his beard, or even the best pair of underwear out there. They do have underwear. I knew that. Manscaped, as is bases covered. So head over to manscaped.com and get 20% off and free shipping with code AVS, AVS. From daddy to zaddy, trust Manscaped. They do have great underwear. But if it's me, if my kid... What?
I didn't know that.
Oh, well, now you know. If it's me, if my kids are listening, then I'd like to go and get the new beard trimmer. You know what I mean? Because it just needs to be. Mine actually broke it this morning. So
yes, so they can help you go from daddy to zaddy.
Yes. So I mean, the face shaver isn't just for home use. It's perfect for quick touch-ups on the go. Its precision blades ensure a clean shave every time, making it an essential tool for any dad's grooming routine. These guys are dying. These guys are killing me. I mean, are my kids goblins? This is going nuts right now. I still don't know what a goblin is. I couldn't look up because I was trying to look at this. You know what I mean? Anyway, You know what? With summer just around the corner, the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra is the perfect gift for 'em. Designed with hairy daddles in mind, it features signature mower of the Goblins. This is unbelievable. Oh my God. While you're upgrading his grooming tools, don't forget about your dad's underwear drawer. So if my kids are listening, the Goblins, get me some underwear. The set of underwear he got for Christmas a decade ago. Yeah, more than that. And most definitely needs an upgrade. Thankfully, Manscaped Boxers 2.0 are here to help. Boxers 2.0 were crafted with a simple mission: to be the most comfortable boxers a man can buy. What makes these bad boys different? The jewel pouch, a dedicated space that cradles your stones in place for the Goblins, with a performance fabric for extra breathability. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code AVS, AVS, at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code AVS. Never forget where you came from, if you know what I mean. Happy Father's Day from Manscaped and the Goblins. Also, we are brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy is the easiest place to play fantasy sports. It is my go-to. I do it all the time. Pick 8 is now live for the NBA Finals. Create entries with up to 8 picks, and Underdog will automatically double flex entries so you can miss up to 2 picks and still win your entry. With more picks to make and extra ways to win, the excitement is higher than ever. The best part, you can win up to 325 times your original amount. I did that the first bet, and I did that on I did that on my first
roll of the dice.
Roll of the dice, and my apologies. And it was on MacKinnon Ice Time. And we all know how that went. But the first time, it went great. The best part, you can all use a special on flexed entries that have 6 or more picks. And I can't wait to make a pick 8. I'm going to do one, I'm telling you, for Game 4 tomorrow night. Special picks, I'm going to go 5 Florida guys and 3 Edmonton guys.
I'm just trying to
And
breathe.
I won't miss my chance to try it out before it's gone. So I'm going to go after it. Pick'em game, playing their pick'em game is as simple as selecting higher or lower on player stats like points, rebounds, assists, and so much more. Make entries of all basketball and hockey, or mix and match across your other favorite sports. You can win. I don't think I could do that. You can win up to 100 times your money, and that's a ton of fun. I can do that, but I can't mix the other sports. I'm not smart enough. We need you, the baseball guy. Underdog is available in 30 plus states, including California, Texas, and even my homeland, Canada. Talk about a special you see or liked in the past. Oh, no, what I'm trying to say, I just talked about it. I like when it comes down to ice time because it's so fun to watch. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's fun to just look around, and then all of a sudden, you're like, and you don't want them to get too big of a lead, and like it happened with MacKinnon that day for you and I. And but it's so fun. There's so many things you can do, and it is so fun to be part of Underdog. So Underdog will also be running a ton of different promos, bonus cash airdrops, specials, giveaways, and more throughout the NBA playoffs and the NHL playoffs. So make sure to follow at Underdog Picks on Twitter to keep an eye out. Sign up today with promo code DNVR to claim your special pick plus first-time deposit offer of up to $250 in bonus cash. That's Underdog Fantasy code DNVR. Scan the QR code or screen or click the link in the description to sign up today. Must be 18 and plus, 18 years old and over, and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-552-4700 or visit www.ncpgambling.org. Underdog Fantasy Sports. Great place to have fun with, and good partner of the DNVR family.
Yeah.
Overtime to move on from the Goblins.
Yeah, let's talk about some more hairy daddos.
Oh my God, that is unreal. Oh man, that was fun. Rudo didn't replace. Thank you, Joshua. Appreciate that. Rudo, you're fired. He is done. He is gone. That was funny. Hey, nothing beats a good Friday afternoon laugh like this. This is great. And totally lost my mind, my chain of thought where we were before we went to the ad reads. But how about we go like this for the last few minutes, a little overtime. What are we looking forward to the most? Personally, AJ, Tiff, we're the only three here today, but coming up, is it the draft? Is it free agency? Is it development camp? Or is it just a break from, craziness of those things and just looking forward to training camp?
For me, I think it's always just been the draft. I love the draft, man. I think it's fun. You get to see the future of the league, but there's draft day trades, and I think it's cool. Everybody gets into the same room, has to make big decisions. Kids are coming out of the stands and getting to walk up on the stage, and they have this huge moment they've waited their whole lives for, and I just think it's so cool, Like I love the draft. I think it's just one of the greatest things that the NHL had going for it, and I really hate that they're taking it away in its current format, so that they can go remote like all the others. I think that sucks, but I'm looking forward to the draft. I think the Sphere is going to be an amazing venue for it, and we're going to be out there. We're going to have a great time. We're going to have a lot of fun with over at Stadium Swim and just watching the draft, hanging out together. I just think it's going to be a good time.
I'm with you. It's the draft for myself too, because I remember my dad being an agent, as you know, all those years. And
was he?
Yeah, that's but I'm talking about earlier life, right? Trying to explain to people my point here about the draft. The draft was almost always held in Montreal. Like, it was so, one time I went to Detroit, went back to Montreal for whatever. So I used to always go to the draft. I used to always, a young kid, I used to always go with my dad, and I thought it was the coolest thing. And I would be there with my dad's clients and, waiting for them to get drafted. And it was such a cool experience. And that'd be like the gopher for them, whatever it is. Like, he needs a hot dog. Well, I go get him one. You know what I mean? Until, speaking of hot dog, I got drafted myself with 2 hot dogs and heard my name, and mustard was dripping down my face, and then ran down the stairs and, BC Place in Vancouver. So for me, the draft is special. It's fun. I am disappointed that it's the last in person. Again, I heard something the other day.
They could always change it.
That's what they were saying. I heard someone say the other day, I don't know if it's true, but again, you don't know who to believe anymore. But, they're saying that this might not be it, but who knows? Anyway, I thought it was awesome. And the draft is a special place in my heart for hockey. It's always been fun. And, even in management, it was fun to see everybody. Like I told you guys, it's just one of the only few times where you were always all together, what I mean? And that's besides the players, but I'm talking about as staff, so anyway, draft holds a special place in my heart. So Tiff, what do we got?
Probably the draft. I'm just excited to actually go with you guys. I'm also just excited for October. Just bring back hockey. October.
I like it. So all 3 draft. Rudo would say draft.
Yeah.
So Megan.
Free agency day is always fun too, because it's like I get to the end of free agency day, like it's like 4 p.m. on free agency day, and I always feel like I need to smoke. It's just so draining that it's just like, I think it's a lot of fun because it reshapes the league, but the draft is all about the future. Like, it's the lifeblood of the league, It's just more fun. You're not sitting there dreaming about, this guy's going to be an Av tomorrow or whatever. It's like, it's down the road. It's a good time. You can kind of just enjoy it and not have it be, like San Jose fans. Great. They get Macklin Celebrini.
Yeah.
But if you're, I don't know, I hate to target K, but if you're a Montreal fan, this is stressful. You're once again sitting here right outside the tip-top picks, and you're set up prime to do something incredibly dumb that sets your franchise back for years. But on draft day, you can just enjoy it.
Yeah.
You're dreaming on the futures of teenagers. Just enjoy it. They're kids.
It's going to be fun. I mean, I think those guys have been put through the ringer a little bit. I'm talking about the top prospects by being at the combine for a week, and then they're, like Zeev and Mac, and those guys were flown into Florida for the game, right? Game 2, whatever it was, and then now they get to, with all the all the interviews in the combine, now they get to, go home a little bit, you know what I mean, and get themselves ready for a couple weeks before going back. Then they go to development camp. Then they go. I mean, it's crazy. It's a long summer. And a lot of those kids have been to World Juniors too last year, and like I think Celebrini said hadn't gone home in a year, So basically, he went home like a few weeks ago, and that was the first time he'd gone home in like almost a year. So
yeah,
I see. It's a little crazy, but I like the way the league does it. And then again, hopefully the draft stays and doesn't become one of those new things where it's different, where it just takes away from the coolness that we're talking about.
Yeah,
right
definitely. Having it in a centralized location where everybody in the hockey world descends on one place is super cool. And I'm bummed it won't be like that anymore. So,
well, everybody have a great weekend. You can one super chat. Yeah, I'm sorry. Eric must do every Manscaped read from now on, buddy. That took a lot out of me there, and I was dying, and Tiff was dying, and AJ was crying. I don't know if he was crying like laughing or he's crying like, oh boy, that was bad. No,
both.
I'm kidding. Both, yeah.
Yeah, it's a combination of the two.
Combination. Anyway.
Quick housekeeping note. Yeah. We are going to be doing a Roast My Roster the week of the draft, so start preparing your rosters for the end of next week. If you start submitting them right now, useless. But prepare them for the end of next week.
Give us a like. Follow us on Twitter, YouTube, anywhere you want. DNVR.com.
You're good. Camera's just dead. You're fine.
Oh.
We're just signing off anyways.
They're like, well, you're done. But anyway, everybody have a great weekend. Let's see what happens tomorrow night with the Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Until then, we'll see you Monday.
We all silly like the mayor.